Hey guys, hope you all have been well. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to be talking about how my injury, my herniated disc that I currently have in combination with scoliosis, I know, has helped me stick to my weight loss as well as adopting a lifestyle change to suit my needs for my health. I will take you through how I started and where I am now, and hopefully it inspires you guys to find your reason to stick to and focus on your health. So if you've been with me from the beginning or have seen my older videos, you would know that I was a lot heavier set when I first started YouTube, and that has been my whole life. I have always been the chubby girl. I was always fat. I didn't know what it was like to be thin, and so physical health and just the types of food, dietary health, was not something I thought about. I would much rather just eat whatever I wanted, and my physical activities, though it wasn't like nothing at all, it definitely was a lot less than I should have been doing. So that's basically where it all starts in terms of how I ate and the physical activity or lack of that I was doing. Now in between 2007 and 2008, I was working at this English school, and I was moving computer screens from the ground to this trolley, and I ended up hurting my back. I was out of work for about 2 weeks, and I ended up going to the doctors. I had some x-rays done. I had the doctor look at me, and they came to the conclusion that I just had a muscle spasm. In addition to that, I found out that I had scoliosis. I did not know I had scoliosis until I was an adult. The doctor had confirmed to me that he's pretty certain I've had this since I was a baby. I just wasn't made aware of it. So it explained a lot of why I lean a certain way, and sometimes the other direction would be a little bit more painful and harder. So it made sense. A year or two before this injury, I had decided to lose weight. And the reason for that was because I wanted to know what it was like to be thin. I wanted to wear certain clothes. I wanted to, look good. And so I did it. I ended up losing about 100 to 110 pounds in less than a year. Strictly doing cardio, was very, very strict on what I ate. And when I got there, I kind of went, this is what it feels like. Eating my favorite foods is a lot more worth it than this. Like, I didn't care. I finally experienced it, and I just was like, I kind of like my food more. And so I started to gain the weight back. And when I did get the injury, I wasn't at my heaviest weight, but I definitely wasn't at the lowest weight. I ended up gaining traction to reach that peak weight once again. Since that injury, I found that my functionality, my body movement wasn't as mobile as I had used to be. Sometimes moving a certain way felt a little weird, or if I woke up in a certain position that I was in when I slept, it didn't feel right. So I noticed that something was happening. It was consistent in terms of length, but as far as it being there every single moment of the day, not so much. It really depended on what I was doing. I had moved back home in 2009, and I want to say within the first 2 years, I had hit like my maximum weight. I don't know if that was the same weight I started when I had first done my weight loss, or it was the heaviest I've ever been. I don't recall my starting weight in college, but it's definitely not, they weren't far apart. So as I began teaching, I realized that there's a lot of things that go into teaching. You're constantly moving, you're constantly taking care of your kids. There's a lot of like up and down motion, trying to get to their eye level, trying to make sure that everything's okay. And the pain that I was experiencing when I first got injured, I remember thinking like, wow, it's happening a lot. There were also instances where I would go out of work for weeks, and it was because I did something as simple as picking something up the wrong way because we didn't know form, we didn't know core at this point. So I would be out of work because I couldn't move and function like I needed to be for the students in my class. And this happened, I want to say, at least 3 times within the time that I was working at the school. It was a struggle that I had to deal with, and I didn't know exactly what was going on. Now, I think it might have been 2015, 2016. The administrators at my work had decided that we were going to do this weight loss challenge or fat loss challenge. We went based off of that. And I was all in. I was like, I'm gonna do really well. I've lost weight before, and so I kind of know what I'm gonna do, and I can be competitive, so I was determined, like I need to do well. So I ended up joining the competition. I believe, did we start in January? Or did we start in March? I don't remember. But we started earlier in the year. When we began this program, I just did cardio, Taibo, and Jillian Michaels, and I also was very strict with what I ate, extremely strict, to the point where I made myself feel bad about having like a treat, crazy stuff that now thinking about it, I'm like, oh, come on, Annabelle, seriously. But that's where I started. I think it might have been in March that my coworkers, who turned friends, turned sisters, had asked me like, hey, let's join the gym. This was a startup gym and it was really small at the time. And I want to take a little time just to say how proud I am of my coach, because he's expanded the gym so much. He has 2 current locations, and both of them have like good gym equipment, like everything that you could probably need to get your workout in, he pretty much has. And so to see it go from like this small office space to that is amazing. But I did start the gym the first time I had ever stepped into a gym. It was always intimidating, never crossed my mind. So I had gone to my first class and I threw up. Mind you, it was the only time I ever threw up since joining the gym, but still it was kind of embarrassing. But I found a love for it, which was so weird because I never thought I'd get into the gym, but I enjoyed it so much more than cardio. If you do Taibo, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I hate cardio, guys. I've said it 1,000 times. I absolutely hate cardio, but it was the only thing I knew how to do. So since joining the gym and since the competition, I had been slowly losing weight. Now, I wasn't necessarily the happiest in terms of my diet because I was still figuring that out, but I was starting to figure out exercises and a routine that was going to help me with my physical health. So we're going through the year, going into summer, the competition is over, and I'm like, hey, I feel a lot better. I think I want to keep this up, but this whole diet thing is not working for me. So I started meddling with what I wanted to do in order to make this thing long term. So I did the weekend cheat days, and that didn't work because it's almost like you're looking forward to the weekend all the time. And at the time it kind of made sense, but as I went through it, it's like, man, I'm just looking forward to Saturday and Sunday. You know what I mean? So we've lost weight. We're trying to figure out our health. We're getting our physical into motion. And I'm feeling so much better in terms of my back. Like the weight that's come off put a lot of pressure off of my back. I'm only thinking of this now. At the time, it was just kind of like, this doesn't hurt as bad, leaves your mind. But I was noticing that, so I wanted to keep up with it. I wanted to feel as good as I was feeling then. One day, at class, we were doing it was a kickboxing class on the weekend, and still don't know form, still don't know core. And so I went to do like, not a roundhouse kick, but I was trying to kick the bag, and something happened, something bad happened. The exact same pain that I would get when I would take off from work, I felt. And I was out. I was like, Coach, I don't think I can do anything else. It hurts just to walk. So I ended up going home. I was stuck in bed for like 4 days, Like just getting up is painful. That's how bad my injury gets when I go downhill. So I told myself, look, Annabelle, you need to figure out what the heck this is. It wasn't just a muscle spasm. It would not have lasted this long if it was. So I ended up making an appointment. I went to the hospital here and I said, I don't know what this is. I went to the doctors this year when I was in Hawaii. They told me this, but I'm still feeling it. Help me out. So I got a whole bunch of x-rays and they had to send it off for evaluation. When it came back, they told me that they had seen some stuff that was a little questionable, and they said the best thing to do is to get an MRI to see exactly what's going on. And there are no MRI machines here, so I had to be referred off island, but off island I just had to go to Guam. It's like 35 minutes away. So I got my MRI done, and it was funny because the staff that was there kept like telling me, look, it's gonna be this long. I hope you're gonna be able to last. Would you like some Christmas music? And I was like, don't worry about it. Like, I have no problem keeping still. So my MRI was really quick. I wanna say 2 or 3 days after I met with the neurologist and he confirmed what exactly was going on with me. That's when I knew I had a herniated disc. He also reconfirmed my scoliosis and told me that it makes my herniated disc even worse because of the lack of alignment on my spine. I also had to do a series of physical tests, like, just stand on one leg, lift this leg. I just had to do a series of things. And my doctor had actually told me he was kind of surprised at how flexible I was and how strong I was considering the injury that I have. Now, even when I was heavier set, I have a lot of flexibility. I'm not a gymnast by any means, but I do have a lot of flexibility on my body, and it's also in part because I've been stretching every single day since I don't even remember. Like, I stretch every single morning. So he told me what the usual option was, which is surgery. He told me that it was gonna be very small because of where the location was. I have a herniated disc in L4 and L5. And he said it's typically a small surgery. You're out of the hospital within a day or two. So that kind of like, it made me feel a little better. He said it wasn't one of the serious spinal surgeries that you had to get done, but still I am definitely afraid of the hospital, and even just being there nearly gave me a heart attack. But he mentioned to me, he said, look, you're functioning very, very well. And I told him, I do these types of exercises. I stretch every day. I've lost a whole bunch of weight at this point. And he said, keep up with what you're doing and you more than likely will not need surgery. And I went, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Oh my God. I think I just peed my pants. I looked at him and I said, you know what? I'm going to take you up on that. I am going to stick to what I'm doing. So I go home, I start physical therapy, and through physical therapy, I ended up starting Pilates, which increased my flexibility and introduced me to form and core. I love my physical therapist. She's no longer my physical therapist because I've graduated from physical therapy, but I still go to Pilates with her and she is awesome. So since learning how to engage my core, being aware that there was a thing called form, I decided to go back into the gym. I had stopped for a little bit. I was going to go back into the gym. I asked for 1 month of personal training, and my coach had expanded the gym at this point, so I wanted to learn how to use the equipment properly, but I also wanted someone who knew how to train themselves to tell me what muscle groups I should be feeling when I'm doing a certain exercise. I want them to explain to me how I can adapt this so that I have my back supported when I'm exercising, and I wanted them to show me exactly the proper form I need to be in so I do not risk injury. That was the focus of my personal training. And every single time I was like, look, I can stick to a plan. I will come to the gym regularly, but I just need to make sure you need to teach me how to do this the right way, because I cannot risk getting hurt and then getting surgery. So we have the gym, we have physical therapy, I'm doing Pilates, and I finally figured out what the heck kind of diet I need to work with. I just work within a certain caloric intake, and if I'm going to treat myself, it doesn't matter what day, I will just remember when I had that treat and make sure the rest of the week is good. I'm not gonna stress out about it. It's been working this whole time and I'm happy. So that brings me to today. I've been with that mindset, with that strategy, with that whole repertoire in terms of my weight loss, and I've been sticking to it and I've been happy. I feel the strongest that I've ever felt in my entire life. Mind you, right now I am the oldest I've ever been. But I feel so strong, I feel so healthy, and it's all in part because of this experience. Do I wish that I never had to deal with a herniated disc? Of course I would love to live without a herniated disc, but this is what my life is, and I'm so happy that I took this experience and turned it into something positive, because I could have just gone downhill and I could have stayed the weight that I was and not cared and be in so much pain at the age that I am, which I really shouldn't be experiencing. So I turned it around, made it a positive, and till this day, I constantly tell myself and remind myself that this is the reason you need to continue on. This is my motivation. It is my health. I don't ever want to go back and experience the pain and the suffering that I had to deal with because I wasn't healthy and because I wasn't aware of all the things that I needed to do to support myself. So now that I have the tools in my case, I know what I need to do to make sure that I'm safe when I'm exercising, to know that I need to exercise, to know that I need to eat healthy so that my weight does not put pressure on my spine, and that my workouts are training my muscles so that they can help support the injury that I have. I need it to compensate for the lack of strength that I have there. So surrounding my herniated disc with strong muscles and working to make sure that every muscle in my body is working properly and working with proper form, I can definitely attack life so much better than I was a couple years prior. And with that, whatever your reason is, know that things that you want to do for long-term reasons stick a lot better than short-term. And what I mean by that is, if you just want to look good for the summer, maybe you want to just have a bikini body for the summer that's coming up, that's great. But once the summer passes, it's kind of like, okay, that was the goal, I'm done now. And then you go back to old habits. If you have that bikini body and then go, man, I really like the way I feel, I love the way that I look, I feel very positive, and then continue that, that's awesome. But that's kind of rare when you have a short-term goal. My first weight loss was short-term. I just wanted to know what it felt like to be skinny. I got there and it was like, it's not worth it. Now, when I think about, my love for food and love for just being lazy, it does not trump me wanting to live a healthier life so that I don't have to deal with that kind of pain again. I don't want to go back. So I tell myself every single day, even when I don't feel like going to the gym, even when I don't feel like stretching, Annabelle, think of what it means if you don't do it. And then I go, oh, gotta get it done. So whatever your reason is, find something very true, something that you can commit to, something with purpose, and that will create more of a long-term effect. For me, this is weight loss, but it's also a lifestyle change that I want to keep up for the remainder of my life. It's never gonna be perfect, but I never wanna give up on it. That is my main goal. So that completes my story of how my injury happened, how everything happened and got me to the point where I am today. And again, like I mentioned, although it was tough to take in and know that, this is going to be the rest of my life, it has definitely turned out to be a positive. when it couldn't have been. So I'm very happy with where I am. I'm going to continue to do this. There's still much to be done. There's still things that I can work on, but the important thing is that I'm not giving up. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys enjoyed it and would like to be updated with future videos, go ahead and click the red subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it. If you guys like this makeup look, go ahead and head over to Instagram. First link in the description box down below. There I will list all the makeup products that I use to put this makeup look together. Till the next video, I hope you all are doing well, taking great care of yourselves. I will see you all next time. Bye guys.